Hello, and welcome to I Hate Talking, a podcast about talking, including etymology, frustrating topics, current events, and other random subjects. I'm Adam.
And I'm Steph. We are married, and we invite you into these discussions with us as we talk about the good and the bad of talking.
We hope you enjoy today's episode. Welcome to episode 89 of I Hate Talking.
Hi, everyone.
So we are back with a full episode, and we will jump right into our word or phrase of the episode. And that word is the word aplomb.
Aplomb?
Aplomb.
It sounds British.
I think it might be. It actually might be somehow related to a British etymology, but we'll get to that momentarily. Now, the reason that this came up as a word or phrase of the episode is that whenever I encounter a word that I've never seen before, it does interest me. And this was a particular word that was used from a friend in a text message. And it was a very appropriate word to use, but I had to actually look it up. So that will become our word or phrase of this episode is the word aplomb.
Can you use it in context so I can guess what it means?
I suppose so. Let me see if I can read the text message, and that will give us the context. So this particular text message reads, "While I've never been a Cub master, I know that it is insanely difficult, and you handled it with aplomb."
Oh, wow. That's very different context than I would have guessed. Okay.
Yes. And nothing against this person. I thought it was a typo when I first read it. It did. Yes. So I looked it up and saw that it was a word, and it's a very appropriate word.
Yeah, good for him. Okay. So, given that context, it must mean like a good job or something like that.
Yes. So from our favorite Oxford Language Dictionary, it gives one definition of aplomb as a noun, and it is defined as self-confidence or assurance, especially when in a demanding situation.
Okay.
So the particular example that the Oxford Language Dictionary gives is she passed the test with aplomb.
So just, doing a good job, but being confident that you will do a good job or that you did do a good job.
Yes, and especially in a demanding situation. So that is a specific thing that aplomb applies to, is that you're not just self-confident or self-assured in a normal everyday situation, but when these demanding situations present themselves, that you act with aplomb. So some similar words are poise or self-assurance and self-confidence. So that is the word aplomb.
Cool. It reminds me, can I self-indulge for a quick second? Because I haven't told you this. That someone reminded me today at a play date that this was said last week about me. And I was like, oh, yeah. And it reminds me of that. I said, cutting into the conversation of the text message I got, where it says, you're always up for an adventure. That's one thing I love about you. You don't back down from any adventure, and you run straight into it head first with your hair perfectly curled and a smile on your face. And that made me so happy.
Yeah, I think that's a very apt description.
Because I like doing my hair a lot.
Tackle new adventures and new situations. Indeed.
So would aplomb always be in the positive? Or would there be times that you'd be confident in a hard situation that's not positive? Because you can be confident and still really screw up or not know what you're doing.
So I suppose we can look at the etymology, and that may answer a little bit of the question. It does seem that some of the additional extended definitions refer to complete and confident composure, self-assurance, or poise, especially when handling difficult or demanding situations with coolness and grace. So it does seem that this is not like a false self-confidence, but that it's actually a real self-confidence that you're handling the situation appropriately and well, even though it may be difficult, and you're doing so with composure and confidence.
Okay.
So this actually comes from the French, and it is from the French word aplomb, which is according to the plumb line. So basically, if there is a plumb line that is going to be perfectly balanced because it is going to hang directly straight towards the center of the earth based on gravity, which is actually not true because the spin of the earth will actually change the angle of a plumb line very, very small amount. So that was one of the particular questions that stumped many, many engineering and physics majors in my college coursework.
What question?
Like the question was something about how, like, if you were at this point on the earth and it's spinning, that based on the centrifugal force of the earth and the acceleration of gravity, how much of the plumb line is displaced by the centrifugal force and not hanging straight towards the center of the earth based on gravity.
So, like, when you take a bucket full of water and then you spin it and the water falls out, if you put a string in the middle, theoretically the string would stay in the middle when you spin it also? Is that what the idea is? But it doesn't. It moves a little bit.
Well, I think that's an example of centripetal force, not centrifugal force.
Oh.
But
okay.
the plumb line is a tool that is used by masons or other construction trades where you basically take a small bit of weight, usually a metal weight, hang it from a line or string, and when you place that line or string from the top of the wall, that weight will hang straight down, so it gives you basically a straight edge or a line in order to build the wall or construct whatever you are constructing.
Oh, okay. I picture that.
Yes. So the spin of the earth actually displaces that plumb line a infinitesimal amount. That does not really matter for bricklaying or mason or other construction projects, but that was the question in our physics book.
Oh, cool.
So that was a bit of an aside, but the plumb line is where the word aplomb, and then became used in the English as a plumb, is from the plumb line. And this is based on the fact that the French used that term as basically a term that meant according to the plummet, which connects to the idea of being perfectly upright and balanced. So when you are acting with this self-assurance or confidence that you are perfectly upright and balanced. So again, these are all positive things. So I think a plumb would be used primarily and perhaps exclusively in the positive.
Okay. Yeah.
So that was our interesting vocabulary word of this particular episode from that particular text message, a plumb.
Nice.
So speaking of perfectly upright and poised, I did my best to stay perfectly upright and poised during pies in the face. So that is a particular annual tradition that we do at our particular Cub Scout pack, that for scouts that sell a certain amount of fundraising product, that if they achieve that threshold, they are gifted the opportunity to pie the Cub Master and the assistant Cub Master, or I guess not both. This year we made them choose one or the other, and they get to enjoy that as fruits of their labor in terms of performing all their fundraising efforts.
Right. Okay. So we haven't gotten to talk about this. Why did you only do one this year? Because in the past, they have gotten 2 pies and they could do both of you or 2 on one person.
So the primary reason is because of just the sheer number of scouts that actually achieved that threshold. So typically it's maybe 10, 15, but this year I believe we actually had 28 individual scouts achieve that. So we basically did the same number of pies. It's just that they were distributed among a larger number of scouts. So
Okay.
the assistant cub master and myself received probably the same number of actual pies, but it was just, like I said, spread among a greater population.
Okay. And it's not technically pies for anyone listening who wouldn't know.
That's true. What is, yes, it's not pies, but I
That
guess
would eat
probably
up the whole fundraiser. If you had like apple pie thrown in your face, that would, the cost of 28 apple pies would be like how much we raised.
that's true. I don't think apple pies are typically what people have thrown at them, but
I'd want
it's not.
apple. I'd want chocolate. I'd be okay with that. A chocolate pie?
I don't know if you'd actually be okay with that, because the reason that we don't do even like just simple whipped cream
Yeah.
is because it will, in that amount, sting your eyes. It will cause like breathing problems if you are like inhaling the whipped cream fumes and sugars, and
Wow.
it will destroy clothes because of the chemical composition of the cream and the sugar.
That's crazy. I never knew any of that. And I always wondered why you guys didn't actually use whipped cream, because at least that is tastier.
Yes, but also more painful,
Huh.
and you basically are going to throw away the clothes if you do that. So
Interesting.
we use shaving cream instead,
Yeah.
and it's I guess, I mean, I've never had the whipped cream experience, but I've heard horror stories from people that have done it that way.
Huh. Okay.
And so the whipped cream is not something we do. We do the shaving cream method, and that seems to be a much more enjoyable experience. And then your clothes are even cleaner than
But is it
before.
And is it similar? Because you shave. Obviously, I don't shave my face. I've never had shaving cream on my face. But as you're keeping your mouth quiet and closed as they're throwing it, I guess it's probably a similar sensation as when you're shaving your beard, right?
No,
Oh.
because
Okay.
I would take a little squirt of shaving cream and spread it gently on my cheeks and chin and facial hair areas, whereas these are plates that are being slammed into my face and ears. And
But you've gotten shaving cream in your mouth before, probably when you were learning to shave, maybe.
yeah, maybe not to this extent. So we do wear like diving masks, so that does protect our eyes and nose, but nonetheless, some does get in one's mouth, and it's not terrible, but it's not great either. And
Your buddy at one point that got it also was saying something when one got thrown at him. I
yeah,
was like, oh no, because I
no.
think his mouth was open and I think it went all in.
Oh my goodness. So
It was
yeah,
unfortunate.
by the end of the evening, the diving masks are basically covered, and you really don't have any visual acuity at that point. And then in the ear is the worst. So
You got a good one
I
of that.
did get one that made it to the area of my ear, and that was quite uncomfortable. And that was like the first thing that I did when I got home was take a shower and like rinse out my ear as best as possible.
A parent asked me when that happened. They're like, "Is that allowed?" I was like, "Well, they did it. Like,
Yeah,
it's kind of too
it's not
late.
really
Like,
allowed, but yeah, it was
it's not allowed. It's not encouraged, but it was done." And I don't think he meant it maliciously. It's not like he's trying to hurt you. They're kids and they're throwing things, and I think it. I mean, it is what it is. It is impressive. You're very a plumb, and so is your partner who did this, because the kids want a reaction. Like, I mean, they want a good reaction. Like when your goggles are all full of the shaving cream, when you like use your fingers to like windshield wiper them off, so funny, and they laugh so much. So they like those kind of reactions. But I could see you getting a little frustrated. Maybe a few were really hard hitters, like, oof, that was too rough, buddy, and stuff like that. But you guys are very kind about it and just take it no matter what. And then some also barely throw it at you or like they just barely place it like on your chest. And you have the same reaction for both, and make it exciting for the kids.
That's true. I guess that's why National Cub Scouting has banned the practice, but we still do it in secret. So don't tell anybody.
Okay, podcast world, do not tell anyone that we still do this.
Indeed.
So
I mean, we do it after the event. It's not like a quote unquote sanctioned Cub Scout thing. That is actually why we do it after the event. So like we did,
I thought it was for the cleanup reasons.
Well, I mean, that is helpful too. But like we close our official Cub Scout event and then we do this as sort of a side event.
Yeah. And I mean, I definitely could see it. And you would never want to do it to a child or a younger adult, like for hazing issues or anything. But there is something, the kids get so excited and so motivated to fundraise to pie you in the face. And it's fun because it's an entire, like, 4 or 5 months of this back and forth where you make a big thing about like, oh, no, we're not doing that. And then they're like, yes, we are. And you kind of like pretend like, oh, no, I forgot. And it's a real fun back and forth game with them.
Indeed. It does seem to be an enjoyable thing for the 3 or 4 months that we do our fundraising and then conclude with this as sort of our capstone. We also do a pizza party. That's less shaving cream and all that stuff. So we haven't done that yet. We have to do our pizza party.
Still got to do that. And our kids fundraise well because it's for you. They get to put that in there for like family and friends. And they're very motivated then, I think, to help them reach their goals because they take so much pride in you being their father.
That is true. That is like their quintessential pitch. Yes, is that they get to pie me in the face if they reach their goals. And it does seem to motivate a lot of people to donate and support through purchases.
So this was your third year doing it, right?
I suppose so. Yeah, That sounds right.
Is there anything that worked better or worse in those 3 years experience? Our first year, we didn't know anything, right? The previous Cub Master had told you some tips on like, do this and do that. And so we were like, oh, okay. And then I feel like every year, at least my prep for you has gotten better.
Yeah, I'm trying to recall what we did 3 years ago because I do recall that like 2 years ago, I think I even wore like a trash bag and then the diving mask. This year I didn't. I just wore the diving mask and then just had a sweatshirt and pants on. So in wearing that just sweatshirt and plain pants, I think that actually made it more enjoyable for the scouts as well because they had the opportunity to like, not only throw the pie at my face, but also if they missed, it landed on my clothing, which I think made it also more enjoyable for them as well.
Yeah, here's 1 year.
Okay, yeah, so I didn't wear a trash bag that year. It was last year?
I think it was 2 years ago. That was the year
2 years ago.
Yeah, I don't think you wore a trash bag ever.
Well, apparently neither did my counterpart, so I don't know why I'm thinking that was a true thing, but...
No, the last 2 years you wore a Santa hat.
I think maybe, yes, I did wear a Santa hat. I had my elf hat this year. I think previous to me doing it, previous people wore trash bags.
Okay.
So hopefully I set a new standard.
The last 2 years you wore the same shirt. You did not this year, but it was also much colder. That's what I was most worried about and why I thought maybe you guys only did one pie a kid was because it was below freezing outside and we needed to get done quickly. And the amount of just literally freezing, having shaving cream thrown at you for that extended period of time seemed unhealthy.
I suppose so. It was actually warmer by the end of the event.
But you wore a sweater.
But it was
Last
probably
time you wore...
the insulating factor of the shaving cream, I guess.
Maybe.
Because I'm pretty much covered by the end of it. So.
That's true. This year, a fun thing that happened.
I think it's true. No, I'm serious. Like, I think the shaving cream on my face and head actually made me warmer.
Huh.
Well, yeah, because you don't feel like the wind chill or anything like that. It's like a insulating thing that's over your face.
It doesn't get cold itself?
No, I don't particularly remember it being too cold. No.
Okay. Well, there. So that's the life hack we're telling people, huh? Cover yourself in shaving cream when you're cold.
I mean, it is actually a life hack, right? Because you're supposed to, below freezing, and particularly in wind, you're supposed to put Vaseline on your skin so that it stays warm and doesn't dry out.
Oh.
That is like a real life hack.
So
I guess shaving cream is a good stand-in for that as well.
I guess. So there you go.
But
All
no,
right.
the temperature did not have anything to do with the pies and the number of scouts. It was simply a lot of people, and we did one each.
Okay. I believe that. And a fun thing for this year was because you were wearing an elf hat, that I don't know how it ended up getting, because the children were standing in front of you, but somehow a pie, because again, it's a paper plate with shaving cream on it. And the paper plates were yellow, just yellow paper plates. And somehow that got stuck behind your elf hat that was standing up. And so all the kids thought it was so funny because it looked like the sun was like setting behind your head, because you had a big yellow plate stuck in the back of your head facing us. And I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, I was not even aware of this until after the fact when I was saw the photos, because by maybe the fifth or sixth pie, you really don't have a lot of situational awareness. So you can't see anything, you may not even be able to hear anything, and you're sort of just going with the flow at that point.
So are you like at that point just kind of been like, when is this done? Or is it fun?
No, it's still fun. Now, when our person that was proceeding over the pies said that we had extra and people could go again, I was like, no, let's just end it there. So that was a little bit much, but we made it through.
Oh, okay. So you got a little bummed then when you were like, oh no, we're doing this again.
We're doing another round? No, let's just end there. But
right.
It was fine.
Okay.
So that is our routine for pie in the face for fundraising activities.
So would you recommend it to other people?
Like as a fun thing to do, or as like a incentive to raise money?
Sure, either one.
So I mean, it does seem to be an effective way to incentivize scouts to raise money to hit that certain threshold. I would not choose to do that if that was not the case. So like, this is not something I would do just for fun without some sort of benefit to the general pack, and not just for the fun of the scouts.
Okay. So this isn't something that you find enjoyable per se, but you are happy to do it for the good of the pack as a whole.
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything in the future that you would do differently?
No, I don't suppose so. I mean, it doesn't really bother me that it is in winter, that we do it when it's cold. And I think that, like, if people are going to take this upon themselves and like start this tradition or something, I think the critical thing is that you have to have at minimum goggles, and really a full face dive mask that covers your eyes and your nose is highly recommended.
Yeah, what would happen if it got inside your nose? I feel like that'd be
miserable. I mean, it would just basically be hard to breathe, and it would be sort of miserable to make it to the end. And then I think it'd even be worse if it got in your eyes, that you'd be...
Right, it would
like
sting.
you can't wash them out. You just have to sit there until all the pies have been thrown.
And then that's a bummer, because if you're in pain and not enjoying it, that kills the enjoyment for everyone else.
Or makes it even more fun.
Well, maybe. But yeah, the whole windshield wiper idea is fun. It gets fun. But we always lay down like a mat, like a tarp, right, that we can clean off easily to protect the grass or whatever.
Right.
We always
and we're
do
doing
it
outside, yes. Mm-hmm.
A good thing that happened this year was all the pies, quote unquote pies, were already pre-made and waiting. Because past years we've done them. We've had maybe a little bit before we started, and then we're filling them while we're going. And it gets kind of chaotic and rushed. And so I appreciate that they were all there and we could just pick them up and hand them to the kid.
That's true.
I wanted to initially have each child hold their pie and get around you for a photo. And quickly opted not to. I felt like they would just explode and it would be everywhere and on them and everywhere else. So we have them stand in a line as much as we can and take turns one at a time.
That's true. You had that idea for this year or in previous years?
This year, I wanted a picture of all of them with you.
That's true. It is nice to have memories through photographs, but I'm of the opinion that it's better just to live in the moment and enjoy the pie and not have to worry about a photo.
I do want chocolate pie now. That's what I keep thinking about since we started talking tonight.
Yeah,
Can we get
I'm
chocolate
not
pie
a big
soon?
fan. No, I mean, no, I don't think so.
We can't get it?
I don't think so.
Aw.
I think they're sold out. I don't like pie. And like, if I have to have a pie, it's going to either be key lime pie is definitely a top favorite or pumpkin pie. Apple pie is good too, especially a la mode, but I don't like chocolate. And I certainly don't like chocolate pie.
Well, I'll get myself pie and enjoy it without you.
That's fine. All right. So maybe that will be a topic for discussion sometime in the future on living in the moment versus documenting it, as well as our favorite kinds of pies. Because you certainly would not want to eat a shaving cream pie.
Yeah, I feel like that would be bad, right?
Yes, I think we can all agree.
Is it toxic?
That would be terrible. I would imagine that probably...
At least that large quantity?
Yeah, if you had like a full plate of shaving cream, that would probably be a call to poison control. So if you have any particular favorite pies or an opinion on shaving cream, you can always let us know in a comment, text, or email. And if you did enjoy this episode, do share it with just one other person and they can enjoy it as well. So from your friends at I Hate Talking, until next time, remember, it is only through talking that we begin the journey to understanding.